Good morning. Thank you for coming out today. The topic of our presentation is accelerating cervical cancer elimination in low and middle income countries through development of a costing tool for planning for scaling up. I'm Win Morgan. This is our project team and my co-authors. Lisa Huang is our project director for Success. Success stands for Scaling Up Cervical Cancer Elimination with Secondary Prevention Strategy. Ann Levin is our lead economics advisor. She is president of Levin and Morgan Global Health Consultants. Cindy Govreau is our program and policy advisor. Nemdia Dasani is our research advisor. And I am the costing tool developer working with Levin and Morgan. We have no conflicts of interest to disclose. We're here because planning and costing cervical cancer elimination is not an easy task for anyone, and our mission is to help make it faster, better, and cheaper for governments in low and middle income countries. We've been designing cervical cancer prevention and control costing tools since 2011. These are the original vaccination and screening and treatment planning and costing tools that we built with the support of the World Health Organization. Previous versions of the World Health Organization's C4P tools have been in use in low and middle income countries in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific Islands since 2012. Over the past decade, we've gotten a great deal of feedback from users about the tool itself and the C4P planning process. Among the positive comments we've heard have been, this gave us a common language for building real plans. The discussions left us stronger and more committed to working together. And it gave us what we need to move forward and seek financing. We've also received other feedback, especially when countries have tried to use the tool on their own. For example, the invasive cancer treatment part is too hard to cost, or there's too much data to collect. And the most common refrain, please send technical assistance to help us do this. So we're producing a new version of the C4P. We call it the Success C4P. It focuses on screening and precancerous treatment. C4P is a process of 3 steps. First, we review data on planned strategies and approaches to scaling up. We also collect data on target population sizes, epidemiology, health system infrastructure, and human resources. And we collect unit prices and costs for the materials, personnel, and equipment that will be needed to scale up. Next, we input all these data and assumptions into an Excel spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is programmed to calculate projected outputs and costs. We present the cost analysis to a group of key stakeholders who are the likely implementers, influencers, decision makers, and funders for the proposed activities and investments. We set aside 2 to 3 days in a retreat environment so they can discuss inputs and results both formally and informally among themselves. We then prepare alternate scenarios and calculate the outputs and costs for review and final validation with the stakeholders. This leaves them then with a final report, a presentation package, and documentation of everything they've done. The Excel workbook provides a repository for all the inputs and outputs of the costing. It documents the progress towards agreements made during the planning and costing process. We use Microsoft Excel because it's relatively commonly in use in low-income countries, particularly in government offices with greater access to technology and education. Many government ministries, we found, use Excel for data analysis, accounting, and record keeping. Like previous versions, the tool calculates both financial and economic cost estimates. It includes both recurrent and capital costs. The tool uses bottom-up ingredients-based costing still, and its perspective is still that of a government planning to provide services through its own network of facilities. The Excel tool is left with the ministry with a power user who is trained in its use. It's completely unlocked and contains details of calculations and sources of information that have been collected along the way. It can continue to be updated and used by the ministry for monitoring expenditures versus projected costs and continued planning. We've also included HPV DNA as a screening method in this newest version of the tool so that can be planned and costed. We have also added thermal ablation as a treatment option for precancerous lesions. And in response to requests for more pre-filled inputs and data, we've built databases into the tool to give users a head start on filling in critical assumptions. For example, you can pull down a built-in database of the population of women by age and year, and you can use it to customize your target population at the click of a mouse. And we also have a built-in modifiable database of unit costs of supplies and materials of cervical cancer screening and precancerous treatment in 4 countries, based on the unit prices in the database and the number of units you're going to be using. There's about 100 pre-filled line items right now in this database to make your work easier. And there's similar databases for allowances, equipment, and other direct costs. We've also upgraded the interface of the tool to be more interactive. For example, here you see our epidemiology assumption input, and here we've also upgraded the interface of the tool to be more interactive. The user can change the desired screening coverage each year using a drop-down list, and the tool will instantly report the resulting number of screenings required to reach that goal, the actual number of screenings possible based on the infrastructure investment, and the cumulative coverage projection. We've also introduced a data verification step in the process during which the local cancer control unit and its key technical advisors can review critical assumptions and data input before a draft scenario plan and costing is created for validation by a larger group of key implementing and funding stakeholders. You can click on the hyperlink to see the input in context. You can even then change that input in context and go back to the verification and validation record, and then you can see what changes occur as a result of those changes. We're also investing beyond the tool itself to make the process of planning and costing. For example, we've introduced a step in the process where the government can hire a local consultant to collect the critical data needed to prepare the tool for use in a country. This will significantly reduce the need for international teams to come in on a consultation, and we've provided a sample consultant scope of work that they can use for that hiring process. We are also recording online tutorials on how to use the tool. So far, we have an introductory overview for stakeholders and about 30 detailed short help videos in production. For next steps, the Success C4P process and tool are currently undergoing field testing worldwide through the Success Project. 4 countries are leading the way: Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Guatemala, and the Philippines. We're anticipating that the data collection will start in our pilot countries in the 2nd quarter of this year, and that we'll be preparing draft scenarios by the 3rd quarter. In conclusion, we believe that cervical cancer elimination is an achievable goal with the right resources and planning, and that the continuing development of this costing tool for scaling up cervical cancer elimination will be a major step forward in a contribution to this effort. On behalf of my colleagues and me, thank you. And now I'll take any questions or comments about our ongoing work, or you can contact me at win@levinmorgan.com. ipvc3.com. Thank you for your time and attention.